You gotta keep on breathing if you wanna make sense of it all. So let us start seated. Sarah, you've got a lovely bolster, and that's all we're going to need today is our prop of our bolster. I'm hoping it's the only prop that you're going to need today, but that's what we're working towards anyway. So I have kind of propped myself up on the bolster, but you can of course kneel over the top of it if you like, if kneeling's more comfortable. Let's bring the hands down into the lap. So we're just going to rest the right hand on top of the left and just let the thumbs connect there. So the wrists become heavy and relaxed into the hip creases, the elbows become softer, and the shoulders can then start to drop a little bit more away from the neck and the ears. And feel this length of the spine, and you are holding, well, the bolster is kind of holding yourself up a little bit. Notice the position of the pelvis. Is it tilting backwards or is it tilting forward? And just being aware of how you're sitting, how you're breathing today, and just soften into your practice. And really, that is the whole aim of the practice, is soften, let go of the effort. That's why we are using one of the most comfortable props for the entire practice today, using our bolster. And if you don't have a bolster available, then using a very thick cushion or pillow would help as well. Beginning to find your steady, even, equal breath, samavriti, equal in and equal out. Bringing your attention into your physical presence as you sit there, letting go of any distractions from your day, anything that led you to arrive at your mat. You are here now, so you can let all that go. Enjoy the time that you give yourself. It is your reward each and every time you come to the mat. Just being aware of how you feel today. Asking yourself, how am I? Mentally, emotionally, and physically. Listening to the answers that come back. Deep within mountains, crystals can be found. Deep in the ocean, an exciting world appears. Deep in the soil, roots dig down to support the giant trees our eyes behold. Appearances aren't always what they seem. There is always something deeper and enchanting to be uncovered through discovery, patience, and trust. Our souls are the jewels that is deep within. Getting to know yourself on a deeper level and to witness the charm you behold. There is always much more than what meets the eye. So the theme of our practice today is really to let go of effort, take away the fighting with the posture, settle into it comfortably and easily, working towards challenge and edge, but not putting yourself into a place of overwhelm or discomfort. And using our bolster as our friend and our support through the practice. Gently releasing the thumbs from one another, releasing the palms, almost feeling this still their touch there, and releasing the hands to the thighs, opening across the chest a little bit wider as you pull the shoulders away from the ears, lengthening the neck, rising the crown of the head, lengthening the spine. And again, those roots connect to the earth. And wiggling fingers, moving into wrists, and gently circling into shoulders. Let us come to our first posture, which is a supported bridge. So we're going to come down onto our backs and just gently have the bolster by the side of you, but draw the knees in towards the chest. First of all, roll and massage out gently through the spine. Feel the spine start to connect again to the earth. Again, letting go of the effort. I'm going to repeat that phrase probably quite a lot. And then placing the soles of the feet down onto the mat, lifting up the hips as you bring that bolster, sliding it underneath the sacrum. And then nestling your pelvis and your lower back into the bolster. So making sure that the feet are nicely resting underneath the knees, the soles of the feet are gently relaxing on the mat. You can, of course, take the hands to the side of the body with the palms face up, or you might like to take them back into a cactus, but making sure that the shoulder blades are spreading out underneath you and not pulling in towards one another. So you're really pulling down the thoracic spine. The neck is long, there is space between the chin and the chest, and you can stay and relax and soften here. Give in to that gravitational pull, letting the hips relax deeper into the bolster. And rather than lying in the posture thinking of other things, only be focused on your physical presence, the sensations from the body, whether that's from the feet, the ankles, the legs, the hips, pelvis, the lower back, the spine, shoulders, the chest, the neck, or the arms and the hands. Each exhale, let's go just a little bit more. Noticing if you are gripping, clenching, tensing, holding on. let go and release even more. For the last minute and a half of the posture, you might wish to extend the legs. You don't have to, of course. You can stay in that supported bridge, moving the right and the left leg along the mat, exhaling, letting that body just loosely fold itself over in that passive back bend of pontoon, feeling any stretch as it comes across the thighs and the hip flexors and the psoas. So you feel that the heaviest part, the midriff, the waist, the hips and the pelvis becomes really heavier across the bolster. And again, the arms might just lift above the head. Shoulders are spreading out and not pulling in towards one another. Feel the tension release as you breathe out fully, deeply. Breathing in, breathing out, preparing to move, bringing the right and the left legs back if you chose that option, bringing the hands back by the side of the body, relaxing back into that supported bridge for a moment. And then just keeping the bolster where it is for the moment, draw the right and the left knees up and towards the chest. And see if you can just drop into that bolster just a little bit more. Bring the knees in, curling into a nice little ball. The neck is long, shoulders spread, letting the knees drop towards the shoulders. Nice and slowly, the feet release to the mat. Press into the feet to lift the hips. Slide the bolster out of the way, roll down, and then lengthen the legs all the way along the mat into full Shavasana for a recovery pose. And then slowly bring the knees in, roll over to one side. Take your time to roll up. Bring yourself into your tabletop position and just round out through the spine nice and gently. Again, letting go of the effort with these cat and cows, soft and gentle. I have a funny feeling that's the name of a deodorant, isn't it? Soft and gentle. And relax back to the heels, come up to kneeling. So let us come into our second posture, which is a supported child's pose with the bolster. So you can widen the knees to the outer edges. Bolster comes in between your knees. And really, you want to have the belly and the body, but making sure that the head is right at the end. So your whole of your head and torso are lying over your bolster. If you're not quite meeting the bolster, you can always put 2 blocks underneath, which then lift up the bolster even more. And you can turn to the side of your head, which is a little bit more comfortable than having the forehead down, which kind of crushes into the nose. So turning onto the cheek. Maybe the hands are wrapping around, hugging the bolster. And give in. We're softening the hips back towards the heels. We're softening the belly, the rib cage, the chest into the bolster. Noticing here if you are tensing up through the glutes, around the hips or the buttocks. Letting go as much as possible. And just breathing in, lifting the head and turning the neck nice and gently to the opposite side so that you do get an equal stretch on both sides of the neck. Keep letting go of the effort. Using the exhale to release even deeper, even further. Taking a breath in, bringing the head back into the center for a moment, just resting on the forehead there, making sure that the neck is long, that you can still breathe, stretching out the back of the neck, and then bring the hands down by the side of your bolster, pressing up and just rolling up super slow to the back of the mat. Relax the shoulders, kneeling tall. And let's come back down onto our backs. This time the bolster is underneath our knees for supported butterfly. So you can bring your feet over the other side of the bolster and then take the knees wide. So soles of the feet come together. And just bring the hips a little closer, and then again, bring yourself back down onto your back. Spread the arms out to the side of the hips. Now, if this feels okay for you, you might like to go into the deeper variation, which is really just bringing the feet up on top of the bolster. So again, choosing which option you prefer, whether the bolster is underneath and supporting the knees or just underneath the feet. So choose your option there, lengthening the neck, spreading out the shoulders, which is a bit tricky for me at the moment because I'm having severe pain in my traps. Softening out here again into the hips, into the inner thighs, into the glutes. Giving all of the weight of the legs into your prop. Relaxing and releasing any hold or gripping in the pelvic floor, around the area of the inner groin and the sphincter and the glutes and the buttocks. Relaxing through the sacrum, the lower back, and the sides of the body and the waist. And yin is not just about the stillness of the body and the postures, it's also about the stillness of the mind. It's easy for the mind to be pulled away and distracted into other thoughts, but keep bringing it back into the breathing, back into the physical sensations of you lying here. What comes up for you? What feelings? Taking a deep breath in and that lovely letting go deep breath out, preparing to move, bringing the hands to the thighs. Lift the legs together. Try not to let the hip flexors do the work. Use the hands to do the work. Place the feet wide of your bolster and the knees just drop in towards one another. The feet are on top of your bolster as you drop through the belly and the spine. And then bring the knees in towards the chest. Just lengthen the spine a little bit and circle out the knees one way and the other. And then gently release into the hip joints. One way and the other. Wonderful. Very nice. So just push that bolster just a little away from you so that you can roll over once more onto your side, taking time to press yourself up to seated. Good. So this one is a standing posture, which is a dangle, and we're going to use the bolster standing on its end. So the bolster will be like that, and we're going to rest I'm going to flip it over, so there you go. I don't have the handle on the way. So take your time to come up to standing. You can take the feet wide if you like, and just move the feet if you need to, move into the ankles, bend the knees. The head rests on the bolster, and make sure that the bolster's not going to go anywhere. You can let the arms just drop and release to the floor. Make sure there's no tension in the hands, the wrists, the arms. Make sure that you're not kind of compressing the neck, but the neck feels long here. And your choice here is to obviously either keep the legs bent or straighten the legs. But if you straighten the legs, you are putting a little bit more pressure into the neck. So it's really about that relaxing dangle, but having the head supported. We're only here for a couple of minutes. And if you wish to, for the last minute, you can let the bolster go and go into a full dangle. Releasing the head and the neck. Maybe lifting up through the back of the legs, lifting up the sit bones towards the sky, letting the spine release to the earth, maybe taking hold of the elbows, giving even more weight to that soft forward fold. Give in to the gravity here. And the hands come down if they can reach the mat. You're going to take your head away from the bolster if you still have that option. Lengthen out into your half lift, which is your long spine. You can bend the knees and then release back down to the mat. Come into kneeling. And just find a nice long spine. Relax the shoulders, relax the face. Notice how it feels to come out of that inversion when our head was below the heart. Always taking time when you come out of postures that are upside down. And let's go into our wide-legged forward fold from here. So the legs don't have to go super wide, but we do want to feel something. So you can take them as wide as they need to be. And again, options here are that you fold over the bolster in front of you. And again, if you want to take that fold and the bolster is not quite high enough, put 2 blocks underneath so that it lifts that up. Or again, you can place the head on your bolster and use that option there as well. So 2 or 3 options to use the bolster in your wide-legged forward fold. I'll let you decide which ones you go with. I'm going to turn sideways on. And if the head is down onto the bolster, again, you might want to turn it to the side so that it's on the cheeks, so the forehead or the nose are not being compressed so that you can't breathe. So as you come into this wide leg fold or straddle, known as a yin posture, just notice again everything about what you're feeling. And you don't have to be flexible. You don't have to get the legs all the way wide. Notice where you feel your target areas. They could be very, very different from everybody else. Softening through the glutes. Softening through the pelvic floor. Softening into the inner groin, the hamstrings. Breathing deep into tight areas. Modifying the posture with bent knees. Or just coming up a little bit higher if you've gone too deep. letting go of the effort. It's not a hatha posture, it's a yin posture. We want to go deeper into the connective tissue and the joints rather than the larger muscle groups. We're not trying to overstretch the hamstrings or overstretch the inner groin and hip flexors. We are not fighting with the posture, we are enjoying and we are letting go of the effort. Take that breath in. That deep, long, slow breath out. Preparing to move, bring the hands down. Roll up, pull navel gently in towards the spine. Keep the chin in towards the chest until the last moment when the shoulders come back up in line with the hips. Then we sit up tall, lengthening the spine and raising the head. Nice. Let's lift our knees, bring them in together, and you can just surround the bolster there and just squeeze the knees together. Good. So we go back down onto our backs. This one is our reclined twist. So having the bolster probably by the right side of your mat, lying back down, drawing the knees in gently, rolling, massaging out, doing what you need to do. And we're going to roll over onto our right hip, and our left leg covers the bolster from knee to ankle. The underneath leg might be bent. It might be straight. If it's straight, it's going to be a little bit more challenging, but you can always bend into that right knee. The left arm might just rest on top of the left hip. It might open out to the side of you. Deepening the posture is turning your head to look towards your left hand, or you can keep it looking towards your right. It's always about finding the modification that works for you in each posture. Allowing yourself time to go into them, never taking the deepest point first of all. Visualizing that left shoulder blade dropping itself deeper towards the mat, opening up the chest towards the sky. The left palm is face up towards the sky. And these are one of our shorter holds because obviously this is the only posture that has to happen on right and left. So gently bring the head back into center, bring the arms back into center, and then bring the legs back into center. Bring everything, spine, hips, pelvis, shoulders, back into center. Lift up your bolster nice and easily, swapping it over to the other side. Rolling over onto your left hip this time, the right leg goes over the top of your bolster, knee and ankle supported. Underneath leg can be bent or straight, opening out those arms if you feel comfortable to do so, or you can keep that right arm on the right hip. Palms are face up towards the sky, and again, intensifying the posture is turning to look towards your right palm. Find the options and the modifications that work for you. We're only here for a couple of minutes. Exhaling into the second side, noticing any differences. Breathing in. Long, low breath out. And let's release our head back into center. And our arms back into center. Our body and our hips back into center. And as I turn around, I can see that Wesley is now spotted a fly. So he is now intent on catching that. Ah, dear. Rolling over to one side. Bringing yourself back up to seated. And let us come into our last posture before we come back down. This is our frog pose. So this is where our bolster is supporting our body again. So we're going to widen out our knees. And what I'd say is actually probably go sideways on so that your knees are nicely padded. If you're on a hard surface, what kind of helps is that you can double up the mat on either side. You take the knees wide, feet go out to the wider corners, so you're flexing into your feet, and you're using the bolster underneath the body. Thanks, Wesley. He's very intent on that fly. He's very good at catching them, but at least it takes the attention away from attacking my arms. So exhale. Nicely over the bolster. You've got a 90-degree bend at the hip, 90-degree bend at the knee, 90-degree bend at the ankle. Give your weight into the bolster as much as you can. Wesley, come on. Come down here. Come down here. Come on. You funny thing. And again, if you're not quite meeting the bolster, bring the bolster to you by putting 2 blocks underneath the bolster. It lifts them up away from the floor. The knees are nice and wide. This is different to a child's pose. We do want to get into the inner thighs and the inner groin here. Exhale, relax, let go of the effort. This is your peak pose. Wesley, you're right in the camera shot. Come on. I think he's going to make a leap for it, a leap of faith for the fly at some point. Oh, yeah. Dear. Oh, good, he's given up now. We aren't here for that long, but that long might be long enough. Just a few more breaths. You're doing great. Breathe into your frog. Remember those words in our reading at the beginning about there is always something deeper and enchanting to be uncovered through discovery, patience, and trust. Quite often it's discovered in yin postures. To come out of the posture, we slide ourselves forward just a little bit on the bolster. We bring our big toes together and use the hands and the elbows to push ourselves back into tadpole. So you're bringing your hips back towards the heels, and then you can bring the knees together into kneeling. Oh, sit nice and tall. Take time to come out of that one. I know, it's quite deep. Yeah, well done. We're going down onto our backs once more for supported fish. That's our last one before we come into Shavasana. So with your supported fish, again, you can lie back on your bolster. If you need to support the head, I am going to grab your block and pop that right at the top, or a blanket works just as well. Wesley is continuing to find the fly. So we're going to bring ourselves back into supported fish, making sure that our spine, I'm surprised you can even see me. Oh dear, it's very close to him. And you can choose here, I'm going to keep my legs straight and all the way down along the mat. You can, of course, choose if you want to go into butterfly. We have worked into the inner thighs and the hips today, so you can choose that option by having the soles of the feet together, if you can even see what I'm doing, because there's a big black head and ears in the way. And exhale. Give in to this one. Give in to the fish. Let go of all of that effort now. Can you come down here, Wesley? Can you come down here? I'll certainly find it amusing watching the video back. Again, really just letting go of the effort that we put in to some of these postures, reducing the effort by as little as 20% would be far more effective than actually having to fight for the posture. And you can take that ethos off of the yoga mat into daily life and let go of the effort with everything that you do, adopting that ethos off of your yoga mat. Let go of the effort. Find ease and comfort with everything that you do. Breathing in deeply, breathing out deeply. Bring the hands to the thighs. If you had your butterfly option, lift those legs back in together. Take them wide. If you had long legs, all the way down the mat, bring them back in. Constructive rest legs. Soften back into that supported fish. And then lift the head using the hands away from your block or your bolster, looking towards the knees. And then roll yourself over to one side. And slide the bolster all the way down underneath the knees. Let us start to prepare ourselves to come into final relaxation in Shavasana. So we're going to use the bolster underneath our knees in Shavasana. If you like, you can draw the knees in towards the chest and just start to roll out through the spine from your supported fish. If that feels good, of course, go ahead. But making sure that you're nice and warm as you come into final relaxation. Wesley, come here. Come down here. Come on. Fly's gone away. So making yourself warm and comfortable, held and supported. Remember that bolster is a comfortable option, but we could have done all of those postures with a block. And I am going to leave you for moments of silence here and let you know when it's time to come back around. Beginning to take a few deeper breaths as you bring your awareness back into your surroundings, onto the mat and back into the body. Taking your time to move hands and feet, head, arms and legs. There's never any rush to come back around from your Shavasana. It's almost like waking up in the morning. Never just jump straight out of bed. Returning to a comfortable seat. Maybe that is sitting or kneeling over the bolster, but bringing the hands into the heart center. Just relax into the shoulders, lengthening through the neck, crown of the head, reaching towards the sky. The spine is long. You're rooting to the earth and growing to the sky, reminding yourself that you don't have to put in all of the effort, all of the time. Letting go of the effort might actually bring greater results. And remember that there is always much more than what meets the eye. Always thank yourself for your practice, your mind, and your body, and I thank you. Namaste.